How's it going, everyone? Wraith here with another video about Doom. With the hype of Doom Eternal getting to an extreme level, I wanted to have a video to help those who are new in the Doom community and for a refresher for those who have been here for a while. As we get closer to the release of Doom Eternal, I thought it would be great to explain everything about Doom 2016 and to get everyone up to speed on the lore of the Doomslayer. Before I get going, I always want to let everyone know how much I appreciate the support on the channel. It has really gone somewhere fast, and I hope it will keep going strong after Doom Eternal. If you enjoy Doom and other content here, be sure to subscribe and to share the video to get the channel out there more. Okay, let's get started. The older Doom games have never really had a big focus on the story. They mainly focused on the gameplay and allowed players to have a good time killing demons and feeling like they are the Doom guy. They obviously have done well, as many people are still playing them to this date. Whether they are playing vanilla Doom or using mods, Doom has lived on throughout its time. Doom 2016 changed the pace in the Doom community. It still has the same mechanics of the originals, which is of course to rip and tear demons from hell. However, this time around it actually has a story. It wasn't something forced upon or something that you had to endure throughout the game, but if you really wanted to dig into it, you didn't have to go far to get that experience. Doom 2016 is more or less a reboot for the franchise, but for many it can be considered a sequel to the other games. For this video though, we are just going to focus on the facts and lore of the game, so that way there won't be any confusion, and if you want to know any theories, etc., my channel is of course a great place to start. Anyway, you take on the role of a Doom guy, or this time around the Doomslayer. The Doomslayer has quite the backstory, and in Doom Eternal we will be able to dig more into it and know more of his origins. Up until this point, we know that the Doomslayer was a soldier, or rather the leader of the Night Sentinels, and part of a society that worshipped three elemental wraiths, whom were godlike creatures and shared their powers with the people of Argent-Deneur. This place was on another world, or possibly another dimension as far as we know. The power from the wraiths was called Argent Energy, and was something that the forces of Hell wanted for themselves. Hell and Argent-Deneur were already in a conflict that was lasting a long time, where Hell had no victory in sight. The power from the wraiths foiled every plan that Hell threw at Argent-Deneur. The Night Sentinels, or rather protectors of the wraiths, were successful in their engagements against the Dark Realm. When all hope was lost for the forces of Hell, a lowly Hell priest by the name of De Grave struck a deal with the Night Sentinel who lost his son in battle. The deal was to give up the position of the wraiths to Hell, and in return he would have his son resurrected and given back to him. For the most part, most of us could agree that doing a deal with the devil, or a demon for that matter, would not end up being what you agreed upon. The Betrayer, as he was later named, revealed the location of the wraiths to the forces of Hell, which in turn helped them in defeating the realm of Argent-Deneur. The Betrayer did receive his son, but was returned to him in the form of a demon, or rather the icon of sin. Within the lore, there were stories, or rather warnings, written by those in Hell about the Doomslayer and his conquest against the Dark Realm. These warnings were named the Slayer Testaments. The Testaments described the full brutality and strength of the Slayer and his desire to rip and tear all that would stand against him. Prior to the Testaments, we don't know the exact name of this Space Marine, but those who tasted the bite of his sword called him the Doomslayer. A fitting name to strike fear, or rather motivate those who dwell in the darkest of places in Hell to see if they can have a chance against him. The Slayer was not only the leader of the Night Sentinels, but was blessed by the Seraphim to have the powers that he possesses to bring down the forces of Hell. Due to the expansions that Hell has been doing to other worlds, Heaven intervened by blessing the Slayer and sending only him to deal with them. The power that the Slayer possessed was so intense that he drove demons into deeper and darker pits. He was able to defeat behemoths and titans with his sword and shield, causing the demons to fear him even more. For many years, the Slayer was never fully satisfied from killing demons, which in turn had him come across someone named the Wretch, who either created or updated his armor in the forges of Hell. His Praetor suit, as it was called, gave him even more strength and durability to wreak havoc on the Dark Realm. As time went on, his rage blinded him as he was seeking vengeance upon Hell. He sought prey in the Blood Keep, while the Hell priests laid a trap before the Doomslayer, and he fell for it. They brought down the temple upon the Slayer and put him in a cursed sarcophagus, and burned the Slayer mark on his tomb to warn all those in Hell to be warned of the terror within. At this point, the Doomslayer remained trapped for what seemed to be millennia, while Hell was able to rebuild their forces and strike another deal with someone else to accomplish what they were able to do before. The UAC, or rather the Union Aerospace Corporation, established a base on Mars after discovering a fracture within the planet's surface that released an energy more efficient than anything else found on Earth. This energy was none other than Argent Energy. Due to their limitless funding and charismatic chairman Samuel Hayden, the company was able to create a monopoly for the energy on Earth, advance both weapons and research, and dive deeper and deeper into unethical practices. Once they found out that the energy came from hell, that's when things took a turn for the worse. They became a cult, worshipped hell, sacrificed employees, weaponized demons, transformed employees into demons, and the list goes on. All this was mostly due to one of the heads of research, Olivia Pierce. She eventually became more and more corrupted by Hell's influence and struck a deal with either a Hell Priest or the Dark Lord himself. The deal was to have her open up a portal on Mars to allow Hell to come into our dimension as they have done before to other worlds. However, there were a few things that needed to happen before she could do that. Throughout the UAC's expeditions in Hell, they came across a special sarcophagus which was guarded by many demons in a place called the Ketagir Sanctum. This particular sarcophagus contained the Doomslayer. At first, his sarcophagus was kept in the Lazarus labs, but Samuel Hayden took him to a secret location and kept him as a secret to everyone else in the company. But Olivia eventually found him. Once he found him, she made it a priority to ensure he never wakes up. The first part of her plan was to create a Lazarus wave from a captured summoner, which is a demon that can summon other demons and create waves full of Argent energy. The wave killed most of the employees within the base and possessed many into demons. She also released the demons in the holding cells, which killed a lot of people as well. Altogether, over 61,000 people were killed by Olivia's actions and allowed Hell to have access to the base. It wasn't permanent, thankfully, as the Doomslayer awoke from his sarcophagus and started to rip and tear once more. After the Doomslayer put his suit on and familiarized himself with the base's protocols, Samuel Hayden introduced himself and tried to justify the reasonings of having Argent energy and for the events that happened within the last 24 hours or so. For someone like the Doomslayer who has a history of Argent energy and for what it can do to people, you could easily tell how pissed off he was that Hayden cared more about solving an energy crisis than to realize how many people were affected by their selfish ways. The relationship between the Slayer and Hayden was never a good one, especially after the Slayer destroyed the Argent filters, which were not only a way to filter Argent energy, but a way to prevent Olivia from opening a portal to Hell. Eventually, Olivia made her way to the Argent Tower to activate an Argent accumulator, which combined with the Argent fracture would create a dimensional rip into Hell. The Argent Tower was built over the fracture where the UAC first discovered it and used the tower to transport the energy to Earth. Unfortunately, the Doomslayer was unable to stop her from activating the accumulator, which not only ripped open a portal but sucked him into the portal traveling to Hell. After fighting his way through Inferno, he found a teleporter back to Mars and worked with Hayden and Vega, who was the AI built into the Mars base, to find a way to shut down the new portal on Mars. Hayden directed the Slayer to go to the Lazarus Labs, a secret facility that Olivia had access to, and also to find something called the Helix Stone. Upon discovering the Helix Stone in the secret section of the Lazarus Labs, Hayden wanted the Slayer to activate it as it bore the Slayer's mark, hoping to find more info for their plan. The Slayer activated it and found out that he needed to go back to Hell to retrieve the Crucible. The Crucible is a powerful sword using Argent energy as its blade, and the Slayer used it during his crusade against Hell eons ago. With the Crucible, he would be able to go to the well, where the forces of Hell are using the corrupted race to drain Argent energy from them, which is the main source of the portal. After fighting his way through the Lazarus Labs and defeating the Cyber Demon, the Doomslayer found himself in Hell once more. He soon came across the Hell Guards defending the Crucible, but they were no match for him. Once he retrieved the Crucible, the ghosts of the fallen Night Sentinels appeared to him. They were either thanking him for avenging them or acknowledging the good deed that the Slayer has done in retrieving the Crucible. Before the Slayer could interact with them, he was teleported back to Mars by Hayden's tethering system, which was integrated into the Praetor suit. Upon returning to Mars, the Slayer was directed to go to Vega's core processing to shut down the AI. By doing that, it would create a strong enough dimensional rip and take him directly to the well. However, before he shut down Vega, he saved a backup of the AI, which was not known to Hayden at the time. Vega does make a comeback in Doom Eternal, so we'll see how that all plays out. As the Slayer is teleported back to Hell a third time, he finds himself in what remains of Argent Inert. The realm was absorbed into Hell, and not much has remained except for some Sentinel and Slayer statues. The Slayer then made his way to the well and used the Crucible to absorb the power from the Wraiths, which not only shut down the well but also the portal on Mars. In the bowels of RipNtear, the Slayer found Olivia, who transformed into the Spider Mastermind.
They promised me so much.
After defeating the monstrous demon, he was tethered back to Mars and confronted Hayden. This time, however, Hayden kept him frozen in the tether and stole the crucible from the Slayer and sent him to an undisclosed location. At this point, the events of Doom Eternal are in full swing. Hayden has a crucible full of Argent energy that belonged to the three Wraiths. With that much power in the wrong hands can only mean something horrible will happen. Doom Eternal will allow us to know what happened in between the games and let us know what started the invasion of Hell on Earth. Alright, that is everything you need to know about the story before Doom Eternal. I hope you all enjoyed it and are excited about the next game. There are still a ton more things to know about Doom, so this was a good summary of the events and lore for the game. I hope that if you are new to Doom and are starting to get into it, Doom 2016 is a great place to start along with any other Doom game. Be sure to like and subscribe and share the video as a way to help others know about the lore of Doom. Also check out my social media accounts at RipNtear Gaming to see other things over there as well. For all things Doom, you're in the right place. Until next time, fellow Slayers, don't forget to rip and tear. Peace.